Hey, Bobcat Nation, it's time for another Bobcat Coaches Corner. First one of the fall season with head golf coach Jimmy Wilson. Jimmy, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Very welcome, Al. My pleasure.
Appreciate having you here to talk about the teams. And folks, don't worry about adjusting your television sets. That is a bit of a glare coming off the big dome there, Jimmy Wilson. So we just had a great, a solid finish at this tournament this past weekend. Tell me a little bit about this Keel Island Invitational and the field and what you thought about that sixth-place finish.
First tournament of the year, 17 teams there. We finished sixth. Obviously, we'd like to have done better. We've graduated 4 All-Americans in the last 2 years, so we're sort of searching for a lineup this year. No seniors, played 2 juniors, 2 sophomores, and a freshman this past week. Again, would we like to have done better? Sure. The wind was a little bit tough. We showed a little bit of frustration coming down the stretch the second day with the wind. Saw a lot of positives, but we've got a ways to go.
All right, well, talk to me about the guys that you do have coming back, because the Bobcat fans are used to seeing the names of Joe Young and Billy Sheeta up at the top of that lineup, and now they're going to be replaced by an all-conference guy in Pat Garrett. What does it mean to have a guy like him coming back with some pretty solid experience?
Well, Pat busted on the scene last year. His freshman year here, didn't play a whole lot. Last year, he won a tournament as an individual down at Valdosta State. Made all-conference, as you said. We've got Gavin Harper, second-team all-conference last year as a freshman. Taylor Smith has played a lot of golf for us. So we're sort of looking for those 3 guys to, I guess, step up and be the leaders of the bunch. We've got some young guys that have had some experience, not a whole lot of experience, but they're capable of playing. We're going to be okay. We just have to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, and with so much new element to that starting 5, you got to try and plug in different guys. Qualifying is typically the way that you make that lineup in the preseason, and that's what you used for this first tournament here, correct? Was you went by the numbers, right?
Yeah, when we have our first meeting in the fall, I explained to them we're going to go by the numbers for the first tournament, and then I'm going to shuffle the lineup around a little bit through the rest of the fall, trying to find 5 guys that I know I can, compete with in the spring. So you'll probably see 10 or 11 different names this fall in the lineup.
And so that's going to help you when it comes championship season up there in the spring, as far as making that run for the Peach Belt tournament. So the fall, while you win tournaments, you're more or less just trying to figure out which 5 guys are going to have it for you.
More or less. In the last few years, we've had our top 5, 6, or 7 set going into the season, so it wasn't a whole lot of juggling the lineup. This year, I can see us playing as many as 10 or 11 kids this fall.
Okay. Well, let's look forward. We got next week the big Spring Hill Suites Intercollegiate. Gosh, you've been doing in this tournament, longer than I've been here, at least I know. How long has that relationship been? Is it something that you've had for a while up there at Francis Marion?
Probably been playing in it for a dozen years or so.
Nice.
It's a Division I tournament. We're one of 2 Division II schools that get to play in it. We play in it along with USC Aiken. Last year we were fortunate enough to win it by about 9 shots. Again, we got a new cast and new crew, and we're going to go up there this weekend and see how we compete against the Division I competition.
Now, what's the purpose of taking on guys at that extra level? You don't have to compete against them when it comes championship time. What goals are you hoping to set there?
Well, it's my belief that to be the best, you've got to beat the best, and to compete up against Division I can do nothing but help us. Last year, again, we won the tournament, and it gave the guys a great bit of confidence moving forward.
Sure.
We won the tournament without Joe Young last year, who was out with elbow surgery in the fall. Billy Sheeta finished second, but again, those guys aren't with us this year, so we got to find somebody new to step up and take the lead, if you will.
Well, that's a big tournament for you. We're looking forward to some solid finishes there. And have you worked on forming the 5 that you're going to be taking up to Florence yet, or aren't we that far along?
I've got a good idea. I haven't let the kids know it yet, so
Okay, we'll let that
I'm not
be
going to let
that.
the cat out of the bag.
We don't want to get you in any trouble with the guys. All right, so let's look at just coaching golf in general. I mean, it's a unique sport in that, it's not like basketball where if somebody doesn't have it on a particular day, you can't grab somebody off the bench and plug them in there. So, I mean, how do you go about coaching a sport where, you really can't make changes?
Well, during a tournament, I feel like you're not necessarily coaching golf, you're coaching people. You figure out what works with each individual player, and you talk to them. I may talk to you differently than I would say
Sure.
Wendell, our athletic director, if we're on the golf course. Some guys you pat them on the back, and some guys you're going to fuss at a little bit. It's just learning how to push their buttons and what's going to make them work.
So it might be a bit of a learning curve for you as well with all the new faces, is trying to figure out, how a Victor Monte is going to respond as opposed to a Brian Fox.
Oh, without a doubt. Two very different personalities, and again, they react differently to the way you deal with them.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, we're looking forward to helping you find out, where this team's going to head, and I'm sure with all the experience that you've got, you're going to get that best five when it comes time for the spring and be battling for championships once again, right? That's the goal.
We're going to do our best to get there. How about that?
Okay. Well, for Jimmy Wilson, I'm Al West, and this is another Bobcat Coach's Corner. Stick around for some more, folks. We'll be right back.